Hey everyone, welcome back to the Speak Up Erika podcast. I'm your host Erika, and this podcast talks about things that we're scared to talk about but should. Welcome back to part 2 of Surviving with COVID with Lynn and Charlene. Welcome back, you two. Hey,
Hello.
yeah, so we're just gonna get into the conversation of where we left off, and
Yeah.
did we want to talk about our recovery then, going on from here? We kind of like touched upon it, I guess, but how was your recovery like? Yes, Char.
So I just had a lot of like fruits and veggies all the time. And then I was just drinking a lot of honey, lemon, and ginger teas like all the time. And my dad like swore by that when he had it. So he was just like pushing it. He was like, do a steam inhale. Like he reminded me to do that every single day, three times a day at least. And I'm sorry, Dad, I did not do that 3 times a day, but I did it at least like once, I think.
So funny.
Did you think it helped? I mean, I didn't even have it that bad, so I don't know if if that was the reason I wasn't doing so bad, or it was just because of me. But I mean, it didn't hurt. Like it always tasted good, so it really felt like nice for your throat to like drink that tea as well. So, that was all I really drank for like a while, and just water. And then, I was taking. I think I took like Advil Tylenol or Advil, one of those. And then I was also taking vitamin D, aspirin, and I think that was it.
Vitamin C.
No, I think I just had 3 that I was taking every single day. So like Advil, aspirin, and vitamin D. And then I had like these emergencies, but I never like used those drink packages.
So disgusting.
Yeah, I think I just drank a lot of like the tea and stuff, but otherwise I don't think I really did much else. It was just like don't do anything and take all those, and I felt better.
That's good.
Yeah, that was my recovery.
Do you want to say yours,
Edline?
For me, it was like the main like need of my symptoms was for the first 4 days, and then after, I would say, what did I even do during those days? I feel like all I did was like sleep. I would try to eat, but I wasn't even that hungry. Just like drink water and tea for the most part. And your dad did tell us about that ginger thing too. That was like his
so
main
funny.
He like preaches that shit, I swear.
Yeah.
He would FaceTime and be like, "So did you do it today?"
Yeah. Like, yes, teacher, try ginger.
Yeah.
You got ginger? You got it? You have it? You have the
Yeah. It's so funny. But the issue is that we didn't have like a pot or a stove to boil the ginger.
God.
So did you guys just like microwave everything? Oh,
we didn't even have a microwave.
Did you have a kettle?
We had a kettle.
Oh.
And that was like a kettle we brought from home. And then we had the oven because my aunt, she was cleaning the stove top and we didn't know how to reassemble it. So everything was like out in the open, like I don't know what they're called. Yeah, the screws and everything. And we're just like, I don't know what to do with that. So we just didn't even try, and we just used the oven for the most part. There's no microwave, and then we use the kettle. So that's how I boiled the ginger. I just put like I chopped up ginger, and then I would put it in my cup and then pour the hot water onto it and just leave it there for a bit, and then I would like smell it and drink it. And thankfully, like the cup that I had a built-in strainer, so I was able to drink out of it. But yeah, the struggle.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
it was a struggle, bro.
It was a struggle not having an oven or a microwave. What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, like, you don't even think about it when you have these items at home, like the microwave and oven and stovetop and all that kind of stuff. But say, for example, we had to reheat soup, and we did like, we're like, how are we gonna reheat the soup? So we bought these things at Walmart, through Instacart, and it was like a tin foil tray.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
you
you're
can put
only
in the
allowed to
oven.
use them like once, but we like reused it. Like it was like a
What the hell?
disposable tin tray.
Yeah, well, like when you're like
for big
bugle-
parties.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
party, but like not the big one. It was like a smaller square sized tin tray.
Yeah.
So we would
Okay.
like pour our soup in it and put it in the oven and like just oven like bake it.
Yeah. We baked soup, we baked sandwiches.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's actually really funny.
Pierogies was a good one.
Pierogies.
Thank
Yeah.
God we lived off pierogies.
Mhm.
Because people are like, oh, make sure you have like hot things, soup and stuff. I'm like, but you can only use their oven, so it's only like specific things that you can really heat up.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just funny. Good times.
Yeah, I
Wow.
would say we like lived off of sandwiches and Uber Eats
Yeah.
and soup. Yeah,
Yeah.
those are the main things we basically ate. And then we had just a bunch of liquids like
Yeah.
water, juice, tea with the ginger and lemon.
Yeah. We finished
Yeah.
a whole thing of honey.
Yeah. I think I went through like 2 because my mom was having them too. So like we went through a lot of honey too.
Yeah.
And like so much
honey
ginger,
helps.
just constantly we were asking my aunt for ginger.
Yes, I
Mhm.
know. So yeah, my recovery pretty much like Edlin and I I went through a lot more symptoms and mine lasted like a month and a half. So it was a bit longer. But pretty much the same thing. The holy trinity, I would guess you can call it, is honey, lemon, ginger.
That's all you need to get over COVID, and my dad
right? The only thing you need. We got emergency, but it was freaking nasty, so I never drank that. I just drank. I swear I drank like a whole case of bottled water. Maybe like a case and a half, like or 2 cases almost, because we had like
Wow.
jugs of water. So
Yeah.
I drank a lot of water, and what else did I use to recover? I think in terms of recovery, aside from just like eating and stuff, which I didn't really do, but was like to just rest. So, I think also I spent a lot of time, so I downloaded phone games, and I would just oh my god, I totally forgot.
The cat game.
I was so addicted.
The renovation thing.
I was so addicted to phone games that I spent like I think almost $70 on a phone game. Because so the way that it works, okay, for whoever is listening, if y'all played Candy Crush, the game was similar to Candy Crush. It was like Project Makeover that I played, Home Design, and Kitten Match, and they're all like the same concept where you play like a mix and match game, and then you can renovate your house or whatever. Anyways, I played Project Makeover first, and you only have a limited amount of moves. So when your moves are done, you get these gems that can give you more moves. And I paid money because I was like, I need to play now. So I spent like $70, maybe
Oh
$80.
my gosh.
And I'm like, oh my, yeah. So anyways, I was very addicted during my recovery period. And I think it was just something to get my mind off things because everything was just like, bleh, like everything was chaotic. I had a movie night with one of my friends, but as I said, like it was hard to look at a screen, and my nose. You know when you go to sleep and you sleep on one side and your nose is clogged, and then you like go on the other side and then your nose is clogged. So that was like me for a couple of days too. So yeah, I was kind of just dying. Yeah. And I know like Charlene and I also talked about this too. And I like the first week I was like, man, or no, maybe it was the second week because I noticed that COVID wasn't gonna kill me. I was like, damn, kind of sucks that COVID's not gonna kill me.
So many different jokes, but like at the same time, you're kind of like, kind of wish it happened. Didn't
Like, it's okay, I'm cool with it. You know, yeah. I mean, those are suicidal ideations, I guess, with COVID. But what else did I do in my recovery? Yeah, the walks really helped, to be honest. People say to go on for a walk for at least like 10 minutes or something and just get fresh air. And then also for people who are getting like sniffles and coughs and stuff, they say to sleep on your front not your backside, so that like all the phlegm can kind of come out.
Yeah.
So I slept on my front for the whole time. Like I didn't,
Yeah.
and I usually don't do that, but that was kind of like my recovery. And now that we went through like our recovery part and what that was kind of like, Char, I guess, can you start and tell us what it was like going back to work and going back to reality, I guess?
Yeah, so I don't work from home. My old job, I couldn't work from home. So um I was literally like just completely checked out of it. Like work was not a thing I had to worry about while I was sick. And I was just using like the government money where you can like sign up for if you're like quarantining because of someone else, or if you're away from work because you have it, like you can get money from the government. Do that for sure, because my work was not paying me because I was sick. Um, and I waited until I was 100%, like I said, and then I think I went and everyone there tested negative, so they were like fine with it. My work was so weird though that they didn't even really care about COVID, which is so annoying. So like it wasn't that like it was fine coming back, but I was just like I was extra cautious still. Like I was still wearing my mask, and they would even be like, "Why are you wearing it?" And I'm like, I good thing I wore it when I did because I had COVID for that whole week, and people would always
Yeah.
be like, "Why are you wearing like you don't have to wear a mask?" My boss literally said like, "We can share it with all of us. Who cares? Like it's fine if
Oh
you
my
have COVID." Blah blah.
gosh.
And I'm like, I'm gonna wear my mask. Thank you. Um, but yeah, I had a pretty smooth transition. Like I just had to like catch up with everything I missed. Came back to like huge piles of stuff all over my desk and just caught up with that. But I was actually in the process while I came back, I was in the process of actually wanting to quit because I got that the job that I have now. So I came back and I was just, well, all I was really worrying about was quitting. So that was my experience coming back. I think overall I think I just had a pretty smooth transition, like physically and mentally, which I'm very lucky and thankful for, but obviously it can go different ways.
Yeah.
As
Yes.
we will see.
As we will chat. Yeah. Did you want to chat about yours then, Edlin? Want to start off or?
Yeah, so we also waited, I think, a little longer than the recommended time because I think it's only 10 days after your symptoms that you're able to go out into the world, which is kind of scary because
Mhm.
your symptoms can last longer and also like you still have it like in your system even though you're not contagious anymore. Um, but but yeah, and then we went home like end of January. So we were there for like almost a month, like 4 weeks, I think.
Yeah.
Um, and once we got home, like I was like so happy to be there, but I was also like mentally like, okay, I have to clean everything and like I had to disinfect like everything I brought in and then everything like at my house already. And like that was just like my mindset. Like I didn't like know how to deal with things, like how I should like go back home. Like I just felt like I had to disinfect everything and then okay, like I feel like stable now, you know? So yeah. So that's kind of like my mindset. And then like I feel like at this point, like post COVID physical symptoms, like our family was kind of dealing with like mental COVID symptoms. Yeah, I think a big thing is that people just tell you about prevention, but they don't really tell you about recovery and what to
Mhm.
do and what what's okay to do because I think there's just lots of controversy. Like I remember when I called my dentist and I was like, oh, like I was supposed to go to the dentist, but I couldn't and I had COVID, but now I'm like good now, like I have no symptoms. And at that point, they were like, oh, like you need a negative test. And then if you need to go back to work, for example, like I'm not sure for you, Char, but I don't think you needed to show that you were like negative. Yeah,
Yeah,
so it's
no.
just confusing what the regulations are and what it means to be like fully recovered.
Mhm.
But yeah, I didn't really see anyone even after for like another month. So I would say I was like still in self-isolation until like February. Yeah, so for even my birthday, like I didn't see anyone other than my family in person, and then people just like dropped off gifts and stuff, and then I just saw them on Zoom. And yeah, what else recovery wise or post recovery? I think that's mainly it. And the work was kind of the same. Like I was like actually able to focus after a month, I would say. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I can feed off of that because so Edlin and I were preparing for moving day. I guess you can call it.
Moving
And like
out.
with anyone who's moving out, like packing up and stuff, it's very stressful as well. So we started from like top to bottom, and we cleaned all the washrooms, we cleaned all the kitchens, the floor, and just like we had a lot of shit with us because we lived there for a month and we needed like items, right? So we just it was a lot. We vacuumed the whole entire house too, and we was like cleaning every single touch point when we left our aunt's house. So that was a whole process in itself. And then also the like when we got home and what Edlin you were saying was like, okay, now what else do I have to disinfect? And it's like just literally just cleaning as part of the post COVID experience, I guess. But yeah, a lot of mental health recovery, and I think that was also one of the reasons why we wanted to talk about like surviving COVID in general, is that no one talks about the mental health part. And as you said, Edlin, everyone's always talking about prevention. Everyone's saying wear your mask. This is why, like, you have to wear your mask. Here's like percentage of if two people are wearing masks versus one person wearing mask and one person not. Like I see a lot of those ones too. And then the whole 6 foot thing, but no one's ever saying like this is the food that you need to eat when you have COVID. Like here are like actionable things you can do to speed up your recovery process, or to not get it so extreme that you have to get hospitalized, right? Like Charlene was sending us Twitter threads, or we were also, Edlin, you were sending TikToks and stuff. So it's funny how social media is like a huge resource for sure when you're recovering with COVID and just like that whole process. Because also, Edlin, what you said was like all the controversies. I remember when I had the call with Peel Health, and I was like, had a list of questions. I was like, so when am I allowed to see people? When am I allowed? Like, am I allowed? Do I have to get retested again? Like, do I have to do this and that? And pretty much like, we're just sharing our experience right now. But if anyone has it, like, obviously talk to your doctors, talk to like Peel Health and all that stuff, and get your research. But from my experience, what she was telling me was, yes, after your 10 days you can see someone and you're totally okay as long as your symptoms are recovered. I think that's what they were saying, right? But then we're like, what the hell? Like, why is it 14 days for if you don't have, why is it 14 days for isolation, but then 10 days for isolation if you have COVID? I think
there's just so many different like situations and like different things that they've said before that like sometimes it just doesn't make sense and it's so confusing.
And then
sorry.
And then they're saying you can't get retested if you have COVID because it's going to be in your system. We've heard it's going to be in your system for 3 months, or it's going to be in your system for 6 months. It's going to be in your system for 9 months. So like we've heard like a bunch of different things, different facts. I don't even know. So, and then
also I wanted to add something to that point too. Like I feel like personally, like you're allowed to get tested. Like it's there. And like like if you can, like go get tested, because first of all you save people from getting it, and then like if you want to know for yourself, like just do it. Don't even do it for yourself, like do it for the people around you. And if they turn you away, which one nurse like did to me, like just lie and say you have symptoms, because like that's like you have to follow like a certain criteria to get it here in Ontario, but like just do what you can and just get it. It's better safe than sorry, honestly.
I was talking to my best friend a lot as well, who's a nurse, and asked her like a buttload of questions as well. And like she was the one who was like, okay, here's how you can get the test so you can like not get turned down and stuff. So also another tip is don't go to a hospital if you're gonna get retested. Go to one of the smaller clinics, like I don't remember what it's called, but go to the smaller clinics to get it. Dynacare, I think, is one of them. Yeah, that's another tip. But going back to recovery and like all of that stuff, there's just a lot of things people are saying and telling you. But yeah, 100% Edlin, just get tested if you want to get tested and know the criteria to be able to get that test. But it's funny because Charlene, I don't know if you wanted to share your bit of your retesting.
I've been tested so many different times, and I thankfully have not been turned away any single time. I feel like I've gotten lucky with the people that have asked me my questions or that are like taking down my information. I never had to lie, thank God. But like I always go to the same place actually ever since, except for when I tested positive the first time. But it was still a small clinic, but like I had every right to get tested, so they didn't try and stop me. But when I go to like where we go, the drive-through one for, I think it's Switch Health they are. So I either had like someone I knew that ended up working there that let me get tested, and he was like, I'll just say it's for work. And I was like, sick, thank you. Like this was like the final time that I got tested last, and I just wanted to see if I test positive still, because like what if I did want to go to the dentist or like something like that. So
it's like a peace of mind thing too.
Yeah, because I was testing positive for I think like 2 months. Like I went in like the middle of February was one of my last times before that time. And I was still testing positive. And the person actually that took my info, I said like I had COVID before and I just want to see if I'd be testing negative. And he's like, well, they say it can stay in your system for up to 3 or 6 months. So I can't guarantee that you'll test negative, but like you can still go if you want. And I was like, okay, cool, I'm going.
That's good.
Yeah, but that time I tested positive, and then when I went the last time, I just was like, I just want to know if I'm testing positive. And he was like, yeah, for sure. Like usually they say the same thing, like you can still be testing positive. He said for 6 months this time. And I was like, that's so weird, but okay, can I still get tested? And he said, yeah, sure, I'll just say it's for work. And I tested negative. So at least I have that peace of mind. And like now I finally test negative after testing positive, like I think 3 different times.
Oh my gosh, I know. It's just a whole process, man, and like everyone's journey is gonna be different for sure. It's funny because I feel like I became not an expert, but there were people that kept coming to me to ask me for my advice of like, oh, like what, like since you had COVID, like I just tested positive, or I'm like my parents just tested positive, and just would ask me kind of like advice and tips of like how to navigate with everything. My friend's girlfriend like tested positive, and I was like, oh my gosh. So me and that girl never talked. So I messaged her and I was like, hey, like if you need anything, I understand what you're going through, like exactly, because her situation's mimicking mine. So just like, yeah, if you never need anything, just like feel free to reach out and stuff. And it's funny because then we became COVID besties, because then her situation was exactly the same. So we would just like message every day and just be like, symptoms, like how are your symptoms, how are this? So it's nice having someone. I mean, it sucks that we both had it and we were both going through it, but it was nice to like that we were able to be there for each other since we both had it.
Bond over.
Yeah, if there are like other people in your circle that have had it, like I'm sure that they would be more than happy to like give you any information or tips and stuff like that. Because I know recently one of my friends that tested positive and they reached out to me and were just asking for advice. But yeah, so in terms of my recovery with going back to work, I worked online, so it went from I still did work, honestly, but my client kept checking in on me and making sure like I was okay. And I just felt so frustrated because usually when you get like a cold or the flu, it doesn't last for a month. Like it doesn't last for a month and a half. So it was just, I felt so frustrated because I'm the type, and both of you know this, I'm the type to just like work, go, like let's get shit done kind of thing. And I felt so restricted to what I could and couldn't do because of my physical health, and also mental health was playing a part of it too. And I think that was just so frustrating to me, but like you have to take that time to heal, and so yeah, transitioning was a little bit trickier because I was still, it took a while to feel 100%. And it's funny because Edlin, remember when you said that, oh yeah, I realized that I was sick after that, like that 4 days. I felt that like a month and a half after, and I was like, oh
That's
shit,
so
like I'm
long.
feeling 100%. Like like I put on makeup and I was able to be like, oh, take a selfie,
You don't
like
realize until like you're better again.
yeah, you don't realize. And I was just, it felt so good to feel like yourself again. But yeah, at the same time, it was a lot going on because I think I was going through midterms when I came back home, and that was so much fun. And then I had all these tasks put on me from my freelance work because I was starting to feel better. And then I was kicking up the podcast again, so I was recording some episodes, but I didn't want to record if I was still coughing, so I was just waiting for that to like let go of. And then with locals, we finally like started off and kicked off our meetings and was able to get back on track too. So it was a long process for myself just because I was doing so much. Like I think if, so say for example, if I was just working at like my old part-time job and not doing anything else, like I think it would have been a little bit easier because I would just be focusing on transitioning with one thing. But since it was so much, it was definitely a lot harder for me. But we got there, we made it, we here, we out here. So
We
yeah,
recovered
it was
fully. All of us.
it is. In terms of the whole negative testing part, Edlin, I guess if you I can like start talking about a little bit of it. But yeah, we kind of mentioned it already that we had to lie a little to get those tests, and we were tested positive still when we came back home. I think we tested mid-February, right? First week of February, like February 8th or something.
Yeah.
Tested. We were still net positive. And then we tested again in March. And that's when we tested
it was like
negative.
around the same time too, like March 8th or something.
Yeah.
I was so happy to go to the dentist.
So yeah, next I guess we're just gonna wrap up and talk about tips that we have if you have COVID or if you're experiencing it, or if like your loved ones are experiencing it. Like what can you do for others as well, I think is a good one for us to chat about. And then just kind of like our final thoughts with everything. Yeah, Edlin or Charlene, if you wanted to start off that.
Yeah, sure. So I guess if you're going through it yourself, honestly, just take the time to rest. Like don't beat yourself up over like missing work or like trying too hard to like go crazy with like everything you're going through, because like all you really have to do to like get through it is to do nothing. I feel like you just have to let your body recover, like do the ginger tea and the honey and lemon, because that does really help with like your throat and like your whole immune system. Like I feel like ginger is really good for your health too. Um yeah, have a lot of like drink a lot of fluids and like just rest, honestly. Take it easy, like mentally, physically, like all of that. And if you do know someone that has it, definitely just like reach out, check up on them, see if they need any food or groceries, because they can't go anywhere, like offer like just anything. Even just like, hey, how you're doing, like I feel like that's nice enough that you're even like thinking of them. They might not even take you up on your offer if they need anything, but like just to know that someone's there if you do is really nice. And yeah, I think that's my main points for sure.
Yeah.
What about you,
Really
Edline?
good. I think like for sure do those things if you have it and if others around you have it. Adding on to like just like the controversies and things and like mix, because I think the data out there is always changing. So like don't like get sucked into like Facebook or like Insta threads or something, and always just ask your doctor and the Peel public health representatives, and just just do things that you think would like be the best at that situation, because I just feel like it is always changing, so it's a bit difficult in that sense to know if you're doing things right. Like I always kind of had that at the back of my head, like just uncertainty, like if this is the right path or this is the right thing I should be doing.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I think that's a tip as well, because I was like kind of confused sometimes. And just like know that hopefully things will be better and get through it. Thankfully for us, like we didn't have to get hospitalized or anything. So really
Yeah.
grateful for that. But also like just because our situations ended up in a good story, um, to keep doing precautions so then you don't like get it again, or you just don't get it, because yeah, it's not a fun time overall. And even though like
Mhm.
we recovered and we were able to push through it, a lot of people don't. So
Mhm.
yeah, just to keep that in mind, and wear your mask, do all the
Yeah,
things.
yeah,
Yeah.
100%. I love like
Mm-hmm.
all of those tips that you two are giving. I think also like going off of what Charlene said of like taking it easy and taking time, and like also just being kind to yourself during that time and giving yourself that grace, because it is so easy to like, as I was just like sharing earlier, to feel frustrated of like being sick and not being healthy and all of the different stressors that are happening. So it's hard to kind of work out, but to just like step outside for a breath of fresh air really helps, and just like soaking up a little bit of sun. Um, I also think shit, what was it? Oh, meditation kind of helped me as well in terms of recovery. Like
Mm-hmm.
for us, it took us almost 3 months for like physically and mentally to recover, which is actually
Yeah.
like a long ass time. Like
Mhm.
yeah, it's a long time, and some people don't recover, and I'm thankful that we were able to, still be here and be alive and stuff, even though we were saying that like, oh man, COVID, hopefully, yeah, but it's like we made it and we survived. And if you're if like you're experiencing it right now and it just feels so hopeless, and so you just have a lot of intrusive negative thoughts that it's going to be okay and you're going to get through it. And if you need to reach out, like people are here. There's also telehealth, which is a number that they give, so that is also a number that's very helpful. I'll link it down in the podcast notes too. But yeah, if so other people are experiencing it, I usually give Uber Eats gift cards, because that is honestly really helpful, or like giving a gift card in general, I would say is helpful if you don't feel comfortable like driving out or, doing that other stuff. And yeah, definitely just like checking up on people, making sure they're doing okay, because they're just people are just going through a lot. Edlin and I would like to do like gift baskets. So, if you're thinking of making like a COVID gift basket, the trifecta, honey, lemon, ginger, add that in on there. Maybe some tissues, Advil, vitamin D, vitamin C's, teas. Um, I would
Soups.
say it would be like, yeah, socks, fuzzy socks helps
I was
too.
gonna say socks,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, fuzzy
Mm-hmm.
socks. Vicks maybe like hauls and stuff. I actually had like quite a bit of hauls. So if you're making like a care package out there and just like get some ideas, pretty much like if you were to get sick, things that would be good to comfort. Also candles. Candles helps, like notebooks so
Mm.
people can journal and stuff. I guess lastly, to end off this, we just wanted to touch base on like vaccinations, since Charlene, you got yours, right? How was
I have
like
my
that? Yeah.
first, yeah, I have my first dose. I got it when they first released the appointments for like 18 plus in the hotspots, even though it was like specific groups of people, which they never clarified. I know it's like
Yeah.
so confusing right now. Apparently, there's like a whole thread of like people like telling like the perfect places to go and get a vaccine like super quick. I hear that's like a big thing right now, which is
Yeah.
crazy that like people are getting information through like Twitter or something just to get a vaccine right
Mm.
away instead of like from the
Mm-hmm.
government who's being so vague and like confusing. The fact that I even got one like as early as I did, even though it's like I'm only a couple weeks ahead, I guess, but like it was just so confusing. So we like immediately got on it, and but it ended up being for like certain people in like healthcare, people with like um immunocompromised people or like caretakers, all that kind of stuff. I work in a dental supply company, so I ended up saying I work in dental, and I got to get my vaccine, thankfully. And it's so quick, like they give you your next appointment. I waited for like maybe an hour, which isn't that bad. I got the Moderna, and I didn't really experience any symptoms after. I just got like a slight headache and a sore arm like everyone else will, but like get vaccinated and maybe we can all go back to normal hopefully very soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna be the next one who's gonna get vaccinated. So I'm getting my vaccine on Tuesday, which I'm kind of nervous about because I heard, well, I mean, everyone's body is different, but I've heard stories and like my parents got vaccinated and then they were down for a couple of days. So I'm kind of just preparing for myself to get down for a couple of days, So I'm just like stocking up on vitamins and just preparing for the worst case scenario, but I'm hoping that like it won't be worst case scenario, because I'm also getting my period that day. So yeah. I think I might get hit like a bus. Yeah. Like my period will come on the Wednesday and that will be the morning after the shot. So I think something's gonna happen to me. Like I'm just
on Advil for sure. Get a heating
yeah.
pad.
Exercise
your arm.
Exactly. So I'm excited though that we're
at least you're prepared.
Privileged. Yeah, we're so like I know that people in Toronto, their lineups are like insane apparently, which defeats the purpose of getting the vaccine because then there's so many people there. You know what I'm saying?
It's so crazy. I saw a video of someone lining up at 5 a.m. and they're like wrapped around a football field. And then they finally got an appointment at 8 a.m., but they still have to come back at like 3 o'clock just to get their vaccine. And I'm like, why are you doing that? Just do everything online. Instead of gathering everyone in a huge space and then making them wait and then also making them come back. Like, what is happening?
Yeah, I know.
I'm very grateful that our system is a little easier at least.
Yeah. I feel like it would be difficult for people who don't have access to like internet or something. Like I've seen a couple posts like saying that it's like a free-for-all, like you don't even need your health card number or anything. Like you just need an ID and your name and then you could get one. Which is pretty good for people who are just don't have access or who aren't Canadian citizens, because I don't think everyone has a health card.
Right. Even my friends.
Sorry.
No, go for it.
Some people might just need like a PR card or something like that too, like people like that. So it might be a little difficult.
Yeah. I was just gonna say my friend was trying to book it for her children and their health card wasn't working, and it wasn't because it was outdated or expired, because they still accept expired ones. So I don't know, some people are just have troubles and not able to book it for whatever reason with the government. So that's so frustrating in itself too.
How old are her kids?
Like our age, around our age. But she was just trying to help book it for her.
Strange.
Weird. Okay.
So Edlyn, do you want to share a bit about like your vaccine thing?
For me to get it, it was I went on like 8 a.m. when it opened, and then there was like two different websites, the Ontario government one and then the actual like hospital website, and I was on both, and then both of the wait times were like over an hour, and I was like, this is crazy. And then one of my friends texted me and was like, oh, I'm in, like, do you want me to book an appointment? So I just like sent her all my info and she was able to get it for me. So I think that was that was awesome that she did that. But just to show that like help others around you, and like it will take a while, so just hang in there, but you'll like for sure get your spot soon, because I think now like almost everyone I know has like been getting it, which is awesome. Shout out to everyone who wants it, and if you don't want it, then I don't know what to say to you.
We won't be hanging out this summer.
Sorry, that's so funny. I totally
honestly
forgot.
like if you I was just gonna say, like, honestly, if you don't get it, like, I'm like scared for you.
Yeah, like good luck.
Like, yeah, because I heard it just like if you don't get it, then COVID will obviously evolve and it could get worse. So if you eventually get it down the line, but I don't know. I'm not here to change anyone's opinions. I'm just here to say my experience and I'm getting vaccinated.
Yeah,
You
there's a
should
lot of
too.
people anti-vax.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's the same. Like, there's always going to be two different perspectives for everything. Like, you know, anti-mask, pro-mask, this and that. So
Mhm.
it is what it is. Like, you can't change. You can't think for everyone. And I totally forgot that it was so difficult to book an appointment because Matt was the
Yeah.
one who actually booked my appointment, and he booked like 10 other people's appointments
Yeah.
as
Wow.
well. Yeah. So it is kind of difficult, but yeah, for sure. Your turn's gonna come. Hopefully, it can
At least
come.
you will have a
Mhm.
turn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll have our turn. And I know that there's countries out there that are suffering a lot more than we are, like India, you know. So
Mhm.
I'm just like, my hearts are going out to people who just don't have the same access and opportunities and, you know, like stuff that we do. So I
Mhm.
have two questions to end off. My first one is, if you could eat any three foods while during like your COVID or during quarantine or whatever, what would they be?
Ooh, Edlin, do you want to go first? I want to think
My
for a
like
second.
top 3 foods to eat.
However, yeah, it doesn't even have to be like just top three foods in quarantine.
Like if I'm self-isolating or if I'm like, because
Yeah,
Have
I guess like
COVID.
it, yeah,
which
yeah,
one? Both?
yeah, sure.
Okay. So
I can go
I
first
would
if you wanted
say,
me to. Or go ahead.
okay. Oh, did you want to go first?
No.
Okay. I would
I just
say,
offered if you wanted me to, but I don't want to.
okay.
No.
So if you had COVID or if you're self-isolating, I would like for me, I kind of like sticks with like healthier foods. So like
Yeah.
soups. Um, yeah, just like soup, like pho. Pho was awesome to
Oh,
eat. I had lots of oatmeal and fruits, and also it's another food that I always ate. We ate like what's it called? Pierogies.
Yeah, yeah, it was so good.
So those three. I guess
easily
I can.
accessible and delicious.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, up there for sure. I feel like all of mine are just gonna be soups. But congee,
Mhm.
just like even
Yeah.
plain congee with the congee bread is just so freaking good.
It
And
is,
like,
yeah.
yeah, tomato soup as well. My mouth is salivating. Oh my god. Tomato soup is so good too, like with like just croutons, or if you get it from Firehouse Subs, they give you those oyster crackers that just, oh, that shit's so good. And then a third one. You know what's really good? Just getting like a burrito bowl.
Oh
Mm.
yeah.
That was so good because it's a little bit warm, but not really, and it has like, it's filling and there's a lot of nutrients, and you can eat it for like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's huge,
Mm-hmm.
and your appetite may not be that like big, I guess.
Mhm.
But yeah, Char.
I would say mine is definitely fruit for sure. Like my breakfast the whole time, I swear, was just a plate of fruit. And then also congee or like even arroscaldo. I think I had
Mm.
that once and it was so good.
Mm,
Um, for third, I'm thinking more soup to be honest, like pho, honestly.
yeah,
So
Yeah.
bomb.
yeah,
Yeah.
yum,
So
so
good.
good.
Yeah.
And what is one word that you would say to describe your COVID experience?
Ooh. I would say mine was just strange overall.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
just the way that I got it, I don't know how I got it. The fact that I
yeah.
didn't give it to like anyone, even though I was in close contact with so many
So
people,
true. So
Mm-hmm.
weird.
true.
The fact that I didn't even like get any really bad symptoms, even though I do have asthma and all that stuff. So strange. Like all of it was just a weird time for me.
Yeah. Yeah, yours is a
Yeah,
little like different from ours.
Very
yeah,
different.
Yeah.
yeah.
I would say mine is lucky. Like just like our situation, I think it was a blessing in disguise because like the reason why we only got tested and that we knew about my like dad having uh COVID because he didn't even have symptoms. And
Yeah.
when we got tested, I feel like that's maybe when he was, but like his symptoms like was like basically nothing. And that prevented us from spreading it, and we were able to self-isolate early. So yeah, I would just say we were lucky with everyone who helped us in finding a place. Yeah,
that's so true. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely agree with that too, but I guess my word would be complicated. Yeah, just complicated. Confusing or complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a very complex situation.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
remember
expand on that.
I don't know. I feel like everything I shared and explained was like my experience, like from beginning to end in those 3 months. It's just like navigating, like where the hell do we go? What the hell do we do? Where do we go to a hotel? Do we do this? And then going from trying to move in to a new place and then navigating the Wi-Fi, navigating, and then after like, oh well, like is nanay-tate positive, and like that part, and then
there's just so much.
yeah, and then it's like, oh, the Peel Health and the Halton Health, like what do we get? I don't know. There were just so many things happening at one time that it was so complicated and confusing, and then the whole like school and work, and yeah, I think there was just so many overlapping parts, which is what made it complicated, and we just didn't know how to navigate because our situation was different as well. And everyone's gonna experience a different situation, so yeah, complex. Yeah.
That's a good word.
Yeah,
definitely true.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Edlin and Charlene, for wanting to speak about this. I know that people are like feel that there's stigmas around people who have COVID. But yeah, I really appreciate both of you just taking your time to like share your stories as well, and just like things that we went through and sharing the tips and stuff. I'm sure it's going to be so helpful to whoever is listening, especially right now as cases are getting higher and stuff, and like the lockdown is going to be extended again, and yeah, it's just a lot happening. So thank you so much.
Happy I can share.
Yeah.
And help anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope this helped if you're going through it.
Yeah.
Or if you're just like scared of like COVID or something, like
just curious how it goes.
Yeah.
I feel like we all had different stories, so like it's definitely a little peek into what it could be like.
For sure. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for everyone who's listening, and bye.
Bye. Thank you.